Hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire geek, and welcome to episode 101 of Magnificent Mondays. I nearly said Friday Night Point with Fear, sorry. Magnificent Mondays, where this week we're doing what we were supposed to be doing last week, which were Apollo 13. And we're doing it, in memory of Jim Lovell, who passed away the other week. But anywho, Windgrace says, I like this one, but I think 18 might be a bit more fun. Apollo 18 is a fun flick, isn't it? Gavin says, are we going to the moon today? What can go wrong? Exactly. But before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. Right, I'm going to check where we're live, and then all these windows are going to go away, because I don't want... I'm wondering if I had too many windows open on Friday that caused the audio to start cutting out. Anyway, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Rumble, and we're live on Twitch. So all those windows are going now. So hopefully we'll have a problem-free episode today. Anyway, Apollo 18, directed by Ron Howard. By the way, I have no notes, so I'm going from memory. Stars Tom Hanks, Kevin Bacon, Bill Paxton, Ed Harris, who else? That other fella. that plays Ken Mattingly. I forgot his name. He was in Mission to Mars. Lieutenant Dan. He's in it as well. And loads of others. As well. As I said, directed by Ron Howard. So there's a little fly flying about. Directed by Ron Howard. So it's got to feature his brother, Clint, which it does. Gavin said, should have launched from Yorkshire. Everything would have been perfect. Yes, it would, if it had launched from the great Yorkshire spaceport of North Allerton. Or wherever. Fylingdales, that would be a good spaceport, wouldn't it? Yeah, where were we? Clint Howard. So he's in it as well as one of the mission control people. I'm trying to remember the fellow who plays Ken Mattingly. I'm going to have to look it up. I'm blanking. It'll come to me. It's just as a get to it. Not that one. Apollo 13 film, not the actual Apollo 13. Gary Sinise, that's the fella, Gary Sinise, and Kathleen Quinlan as Jim Lovell's wife. Yes, it's giving me clues. Gary S. Isn't that him from Star Trek? Oh dear. Yes, exactly. Gary Sinise. Lieutenant Dan. Anyway, had a budget of $52 million, which is not to be sniffed at back in 1995. But given that the same year Waterworld came out, which had a budget of $175 million, this one did a little bit better. So anyway, right, who did the music for this, by the way? James Horner did the music, cinematography by Dean Cundy. It's a great-looking film. The effects, I think the effects of when it's in space have stood up well, but does the launch still look as good as it did back then? I'm not sure, but it looks cool. Anywho. Right, so we'll get on with it, shall we? We're not going to watch the film. We're just going to go through it in a series of stills. It's a breakdown and review. Breakdown and review. So we're watching a series of stills and all that stuff. So I'm trying to remember. I've not had a chance to re-watch it since last week, so I'll probably forget everything. You know what I'm like. But anyway, so I'll pop myself down in the corner and we'll get on with it. If I can remember what buttons to press. You know what I'm like. Bloody hopeless. I'm bloody hopeless. Gavin says, I used to attend the Finningley Air Show in the late 80s, early 90s, till the base was closed down by the government cuts. Was a great day out. Which one did I used to go to? Church Fenton. I used to go to the Church Fenton Air Show, which were fun. I don't think they hold that one now either. But anyway, Apollo 13, we're off. Universal. I'll probably get a copyright claim now, because Universal are notorious for their copyright claims. Anyway, there we go. Imagine Entertainment, which is Ron Howard's production company, innit? By the way, I love this font. It's a very 60s, 70s I don't know. I can't explain it. It just gives me warm, fuzzy feelings. But anyway, it's like $6 million man font, isn't it? Anyway, there we go. Ron Howard film. Oh, wow. The beginning of the film, we're going to see the disaster of Apollo 1 in 1967, where they were doing a test on the launch pad with Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee. Is that right? But they had a fire and they all died hideously, to be honest. But anyway, but only 18 months later, they put a man on the moon. Unbelievable, didn't they? That's why some people don't believe it happened. But anyway, yes, it's been a long road going from there to here to there, and whatever. Right, so we're getting ready now for. We're watching the moon landing now, the Apollo 11, and here's Kevin Bacon as. Can't remember. Bloody useless actor. Who's Kevin Bacon playing? Is the backup anyway? Because the crew of Apollo 13 were the backup crew for Apollo 11, but they became. They weren't. They were the backup crew for Apollo 13. They got bumped up to prime crew, didn't they? But anyway, Ron should make a Star Wars movie. Yes, he should. You know what? I didn't mind Solo. To be completely honest, I didn't really mind it. It was a bit beige, wasn't it? And a bit dopey in a lot of places. But when it was good, it was okay. Yes, rest in peace, Jim Lovell, who passed away the other week at the grand old age of 97. I think it was 97, wasn't it? So obviously all that radiation didn't do him any harm, did it? Because he went to the moon twice, didn't he? The only man to go to the moon twice and not land on it. Anyway. I'm trying to remember who's playing bloody who now. I'm going to have to get my thing up again, so to speak. Because I forgot who plays who, because I'm bloody hopeless. Because I'm blanking. Jack Swigert. Or Swigert, I've always pronounced it Swaggart, but it's spelt Swigert, isn't it? Anyway, there he's chatting some girl up, talking about docking and all that stuff. Obviously, sexual references and all that. But here comes Jim with his champagne and all that. So they're getting ready to watch man land on the moon for the first time. There's Garrisonese as Ken Mattingly. And Bill, the late great Bill Paxton, as the other fella. I'm blanking again. Soon as I start that camera, Fred Hayes, of course, Fred Hayes. Bloody hopeless I am. Anyway, so here we go. Footage of them landing on the moon. There's Pete Conrad. Don't know the name of the actor. He has been in Star Trek. He played Trip and. To Paul's son in the episode E Squared. Where are we? David Andrews is called. Plays Pete Conrad, who I believe was the Apollo 12 commander. I do believe. The best episode of... I forgot the name of it now. That series that I think Tom Hanks produced. It came out after this, obviously. But they did a series about the moon landings, and each episode were about one of the missions. And the Apollo 12 episode was the best one. It was the most fun, anyway. When do the Cylons show up? They're probably there already, amongst us. Anyway, so here we go. We'll skip through this. We'll get to the good stuff. There we go. They've landed on the moon. There's Walter Cronkite getting all teary-eyed. And there we go. Standing on the surface of the moon. It's one small step for man. One giant leap for mankind. And they lost the tapes, didn't they? Lost. Luckily, they found some others, didn't they? Was it like in Australia or somewhere? They found some other, first generation recordings of the moon landing. Something like that. There he is, covering up the moon with his thumb. He does the same thing when he's at the moon with the Earth, doesn't he? Showing how small things can be. He's doing that. But anywho, they're all dreaming about... we learned his she's got a mountain named after her, Mount Marilyn, as Jim Lovell's wife. I still think she looks like Martin Short in a wig. There's Kathleen Quinlan, but anyway. Anywho, that's where his. You see where the shadow crosses the white area there. That's the Sea of Tranquility. What shadow? What's he talking about? That's the Sea of Tranquility there, isn't it? Or is it that? It's one of them, isn't it? I think it's the middle one. I think that's the Sea of Crises. That's the Ocean of Storms, I do believe. I could be wrong. The astronomy things not doing me many favours. That's Tycho Crater. This scene doesn't have enough animal cracker play. We're not doing Armageddon. Oh dear. And Snortopoopus Cuba says, and that's the moment the polar bears on the moon looked at the land and said, well, there goes the neighbourhood. Exactly. Well, they were all lined up for Apollo 11 on the rim of a crater with the UFOs, not polar bears, UFOs, allegedly. Anywho, there's the vehicle assembly building. And I think Jim is showing some tourists about. The tourists are... Actually, it's Roger Corman. Showing Roger Corman round, isn't he? And some others. I imagine they are delegates. What's the word? I can't think of the word now. Important people. I own 1 square acre of the moon. My sister-in-law bought it for me on Amazon. Land there, and I'll tax you. I bought my mate. My mate's got one as well. I bought my mate. He's got a square. I don't think it's an acre. It might be. It's either a square metre or a square acre. Whatever. He's got some moon land as well as my mate. Dignitaries, that's the word. Yes, dignitaries, that's what I'm thinking of. Roger Corman, who was obviously super famous producer and director. And there's Xander Berkeley, who's playing somebody or other in this. But in the film, there were a TV movie, wasn't there? I think came out after this, called Apollo 11, and he played Buzz Aldrin in that. Anyway, so talking about going to the moon and all that. But here comes Deke Slayton in a minute. And he wants to talk to him, and this is where we learn that he's going to the moon. He's been bumped up to prime crew for Apollo 13. By the way, there's his daughter. She's fed up about. I think she's angry. Is it now or is it later? She gets angry about the Beatles splitting up, doesn't she? Anyway, but. Anyway, so I was telling her now, we're going to the moon, the Frau Mauro Highlands. She said, Dad, can I go out in this? He says, yeah, sure. No, you can't, whatever. Family stuff in the middle of all this excitement about going to the moon. He says, why 13? There is some weird 13 coincidences, though, isn't there, with this? Are there coincidences, or did they manufacture these coincidences? I don't know, because it entered lunar orbit or whatever, didn't it, on Friday the 13th. It launched at 13 minutes past the hour. I think it was 14:13, something like that, when it launched, wasn't it? Spooky, if you ask me. But anyway, why 13? Comes after 12, honey. But anyway, so here they are doing their... and this is supposedly 2 days, I think it's 2 days before launch. Where one of the prime crew has come down with, I don't know, measles or something, I don't know. He's ill, so they've bumped them up to the prime crew. They've got 2 days to get it all, to get ready to launch. So anyway, so they're doing their simulation work. Anywho, but we're going to learn that... Oh, by the way, he's having a dream here now, by the way. He's having a dream that they're all going to die. Is it him or is it his wife dreaming it? That he ends up going out the airlock. There we go. Is it his wife? It's his wife having the nightmare, isn't it? Because she's terrified of him dying. Which is fair enough, isn't it? When you strap yourself to the top of a massive rocket designed by a Nazi. But anyway... Here he is telling his kid, his youngest son, all about what's going to happen when they go to the moon. And it goes down to the surface and lands better than Neil Armstrong, way better than Pete Conrad. Pete Conrad did a really good job at Apollo 12, landing it on a dime within, like, I don't know, 100 yards or whatever of the Surveyor. I can't remember what number it was. The Surveyor probe. Neil Armstrong overshot his landing area, didn't he? Anyway, talking about the Apollo 1 fire, saying that there were a door. His son's worried about that, because obviously they've all heard about the Apollo 1 fire, even his son. And he says there were a door that they couldn't get open in time. That says, they've fixed that. That's what he's telling it. That the door can't get stuck again. Also, plus it's not 100% oxygen atmosphere now, is it, in the capsule? Gavin says, Revel Space Kits, I have the 148th Lunar Lander kit. I haven't the patience for model kits. I prefer to buy them already assembled. There's Star Trek stuff up there. I haven't the patience and the shaky hands. Anywho, right, so they're going off on a public appearance. Somebody's going to try and race them, but obviously he doesn't. She's not going to go and watch the launch. And he's saying, why are you going to go watch the launch? She's watched him, launch on 2 other occasions, so she decided she's not going to go and watch the launch. But obviously she does. Yes, they made major changes. Yes, they did after the fire. Anywho, she's doing her stuff. Yes, they're talking about April, entering the moon's gravity on April 13th, Apollo 13. I think they say it's going to launch at 13 minutes past the hour or something like that. Number 13 doesn't bother you, only if it's a Friday. There we go. Lifting off at 1300 hours and 13 minutes, but I'm sure it's 1400 hours and 13 minutes. I'm sure it is. Maybe they had a hold, I don't know. But so they're making light of it, joking about it, saying they got a black cat to walk under a ladder, and everything was fine. Excuse me. But now Jim's talking about how it's an amazing place he's going, where there's 400-degree difference between shadow and sunshine, because there's no atmosphere on the moon to speak of. Might as well not be. Some people say, there is an atmosphere on the moon, but it's like, 1 particle per billion or something like that. Yeah, so he's looking forward to it. Right, here we're seeing the I can't remember what they call it now. The crawler, whatever they call it, that's taking the rocket to the launch pad. Remember, this is supposed to be 2 days, isn't it, before launch? I think it were there quite a long time before launch. They didn't do it at the last minute. Anyway, so off it goes. It goes up 1 mile an hour. There's that, whatever it's called, crawler. Jawa Sand crawler. I forgot what they call it. But it's taking the Saturn V rocket to the launch pad. Did 39A? Did that launch all the Apollos? Right, so where he's been told now that Mattingly he's never had the measles, and they've been around somebody who in the prime crew has got the measles. So they're saying Ken Mattingly can't go because he'll catch the measles, and they don't want him going and then suddenly coming down with symptoms on the way to the moon. So they're saying they can either scrub him or get Jack Swaggart in. So he's decided they're gonna. There he goes, phoning up. Jack Swaggart's in the shower. Phoning him up. He's going to the moon. So he's gonna get all excited now about it. Like that. Anyway, hello Justin. Welcome to the show. You haven't missed out. They haven't set off yet. Don't worry. So that's telling him that, either none of us go or we all go. It's a bit like Space Cowboys, isn't it? Which we did a while ago, didn't we? So it says fair enough. Fair enough. I think, does he end up going back to the moon? No, he was going to go, wasn't he, on Apollo whatever. One of the late that were cancelled, he was supposed to go, but he ended up flying the space shuttle. It did go into space again, didn't it? Ken Mattingly. It tells us at the end. Anyway, so the choice has been made. So he's fed up. He's not going to the moon. Anywho, but he wouldn't have gone anyway. I think he was a command module pilot. He wasn't going to land on the moon, was he? Right, so they're doing he's in the Jack Swaggett's in the simulator, doing the docking and all that stuff, and not getting it right. And we've got to do this until we get it right. So that's what he's going to do. By the way, I'm not an expert on the Apollo mission, so I'll get a lot of stuff wrong. And I have no notes. I did have notes for last week, and I had them on a file. Well, I had them in a text document, and I forgot to save it and deleted it because I'm stupid. So, Anywho, right, so there's the launch site. They're meeting the wives, aren't they? Speaking to them from across the road. It was Apollo, April 10th. 19th, night before the launch. And this is where the wives, or the wives and girlfriends, I suppose, isn't it? Now, wags are going to see him, but they're not allowed to get too close. There you go. She's come to see him off. Anyway, so they're all happy. They're all happy and excited, and now we're going to meet Gunter Wendt. I wonder where Gunter Wendt. That's what he's saying in a minute. There he is. You walk on the moon, yeah? Yeah, we walk and we talk on the moon. Because it's NASA. It's NASA. It's got loads of Germans in it, hasn't it? But anyway. Going to the moon on landing mission was a honour. When did you go to the moon, Justin? Have they accounted for the dome covering our flat planet? I'm sure they've taken everything into account, Wingrace. Anyway, so they're getting them ready, putting on their medical bits and bobs. They can monitor their heart and all that. Vital statistics. Here she's in a motel. Is Marion? I forgot her name already. Marilyn, isn't it? Is it? Oh yes, Marilyn. Crikey, me and my bloody memory. This is where she loses a wedding ring. Except she didn't in real life. But a wedding ring comes off in the shower. There we go. Down it goes, down the plug oil. But in real life, she actually got it back more or less straight away, I think. But they don't show that here for drama because it's unlucky and all that, So, but in real life, she did actually get it back more or less straight away. It didn't go all the way in. But it's for a dramatic effect. Anyway. So off they go, getting ready, getting suited up. Always reminds me, I'm spitting his gum out. Always reminds me of that bit at the beginning of Enterprise where it shows, I think it's Alan Shepard, looking super cool, getting ready and like going, I'm going into space. But they're giving it all that. Putting their fishbowl helmets on. Right, so here's the spectators. I'm sure the vice president's there somewhere, probably, I don't know, some senators and stuff. But here we go with the... I don't know how much CG's in this, or model work, or what, or is it a bit of both? I don't know. But as I said, I'm not an expert. But it does look cool. Famously, I don't know if it was Jim Lovell or one of the others, thought they'd got extra footage from the launch that they'd never seen before. It don't look that good. You can tell it's a special effect when the launch actually happens. But anyway, so we're nearly ready now. We're going to meet Gene Kranz now, played by Ed Harris, who has a new waistcoat that his wife makes for him every launch. There it is, Apollo 13 waistcoat. So he's ready. There were two, weren't there? There were two teams at Mission Control. There were the white team, which were Gene Kranz's team, and there were the black team, weren't there? Which were run by somebody else. I think we're also called Gene. Or were they called Gary? Can't remember. I forgot his name. I can't remember. Hang on, it might be in the cast list. See if it tells me. Glyn Lunny. No, yeah, it is Glyn Lunny. Was the head of the black team, and apparently it were Glyn Lunny's team that were actually did a lot of the initial, Houston, we have the problem. It was them that were on, on duty at the time, because obviously they weren't there 24 hours a day. They were on shifts. So, but anyway, right. So here we go. There's locking them in, and we're getting ready for all that. Smoking, because it's the 60s. Getting ready, calling out. Retro, go. Fido, where go, flight. Guidance, go. Surgeon, that's very good. Go. Go, flies. Go, flight. Ecom, go. Flight. GNC, go. Talmu, go. Control, go. All that stuff. They're ready to go. Just like the blue touch paper and stand well back. And here's Ken Mattingly. I'm not sure. Would he be allowed to be this close to the launch when it shows? Oh, is it going to show it? There we go. It looks a bit close there, doesn't it? But obviously, again, dramatic. It doesn't look, not a very good composite, that is it? Look at that edge there. It looks bloody awful. Anyway. Justin says, I can't confirm or deny if I've been to the moon or worked for NASA. Okay. Your secret's safe with us. Anyway. Did you go up on Apollo 20 with, I forgot his name now. There were Alexei Leonov, a woman, and I forgot the name of the mission commander. It's a great story, the Apollo 20 story. It's a load of rubbish, it's obviously not true, but it's a great thing. Go look it up. Right, so we're getting ready now. There is a abort switch that he keeps looking at. We're getting ready. There's, I imagine that's the fire suppression system steaming away. So off we go. Ignition sequence starts. Right, it's going. Oh, look, and all the tower things are retracting, and it's all jolly exciting. It is all jolly exciting. And there we go. Ignition. Oh, look. Right, so off it goes. Off into space. Cool shots, I must admit. I'm going to play this bit. It is magnificent, isn't it? I must admit. Nothing like a rocket launch. Speaking of rocket launchers, just remembered, they're going to try again for Starship and Super Heavy Booster, another launch for Flight 10 tonight for us, from Boca Chica in Texas. Hopefully, they were supposed to be yesterday, but they scrubbed it. There were a problem. They're trying again tonight. We'll see what happens. You can't be that close all the time. That was good CGI. Yes, it was good for the time. It still is good. But you can tell. That's what I'm trying to say. Maybe he worked on the Apollo or on whatever. On Stargate. Yes, with Colonel. I can't remember his name. It wasn't very nice, was it? What was his name? Never mind. Right, so anyway, they're on their way. So they're heading to the roll. There we go, roll complete, the pitching and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. Off they go into space. Oh, they basically take the foot off the gas, don't they, when they separate. So they like go like that, they go forward. I don't think it's that violent. I don't think it's that violent in real life, but for the stage separation, there it goes. Did they show the bit? I can't remember now. The famous where the ring comes apart and there's all flames in it. Does it show that? Well, that is his name, Colonel Ellis. Yes, fair enough. He wasn't very nice, was he, Colonel Ellis? But anyway. Right, so they get the losing engine, the middle engine, because remember the Saturn V has only got five engines. They lose the middle one, but they're fine. They still go. They still got enough thrust and all that. Oh, look, it's come back on. Look, cool. Or it may be flashing. It may be flashing, saying there's a problem with it. Yes, it is. It's flashing, saying there's a problem with it. But anyway, they're still good. They've got their slide rules out, and they're doing all the numbers, and you're still fine. We still go. So anyway, so there we go. Another staging thing. There we go. There's the next stage. Don't ask me what they're called. I can't remember. So, and then shut down. So they go around the Earth a few times, and they do the translunar injection, don't they? And they head for the moon. They do a burn to head for the moon. Anyway, right. So they're the wives. Are going to go out and speak to the press. They're very happy and thrilled and proud. Right, so his face, I'm sure I've seen him in something, I can't think what, but I don't know his name, the character's name, but he looks very familiar, but I don't know if I've seen him in. And the pictures on IMDb don't help, do they? But Mark McClure plays Glyn Lunny, we see him in a bit, but that's not Mark McClure. But anyway. Right, this is where Fred Hayes is going to throw up. Here he goes. You can see, but look on his face. But it's movie sick. It's not proper sick, is it? Here he goes. Here, ready. Any minute now. There we go. But it's movie sick, innit? Just like a mouthful of it. If it were real life, it'd be like be everywhere. It'd be full, wouldn't it? That capsule. Unless he swallowed a load. Oh dear. Shouldn't have had that big breakfast, should they, before they set off? Right, so here we go, getting ready for service module separation. So here it comes. This is where they're gonna the command module comes out and it turns round, it goes back in, and then pulls the landing module out. There's a great show from HBO from Tom Hanks and the movie crew called From the Earth to the Moon. Yes, I mentioned that just before you arrived. I was saying, maybe it was after, I can't remember. But yeah, that's the one I meant, yes. Where the episode of Apollo 12 was the best episode, in my opinion. But it is good. I think I've got it on DVD somewhere. I think. But, yes, it was good with that. But the Apollo 12 mission was the best. It was the most fun, anyway. Right, so here we go. Getting ready, doing their stuff. It's amazing, isn't it? It's basically, we went to the moon with, analog equipment, mostly. But, because the computers weren't up to much, were they? But anyway, here we go. They're going to grab hold of the lunar module, which was called Aquarius or Odyssey. I can't remember which were which. The command module were Odyssey, wasn't it? And I think the the landing thing, or the LEM, I think that were Aquarius. Or it might be the other way around. I don't know. But anyway, so you're there. They're going to grab hold of it and pull it out, so to speak. So there it goes. And then the rest of that bit will just float off. So off they go to the Frau Mauro Highlands. Anyway, right, so now, because it's all routine. Everything's happened. Everything's, fine. It's all routine. They're on the way to the moon. Remember, it's a 3-day trip to the moon. But, and it's all, routine. Even they're supposed to do transmissions back to Earth about, what they're up to. It's supposed to be on TV. But all the stations have dropped the transmissions from the moon. Probably playing Isle of Lucy or whatever. But anyway, this is where she's fed up. The Beatles have split up. Or is it? No, they haven't split up yet, have they? Because he's divorcing somebody, isn't he? One of the Beatles is getting divorced. Something like that. Oh no, it is Beatles breaking up. I thought it was like when Paul McCartney divorced whatever his wife was. Anyway, whatever. Very good. I like the Building the Lander episode and Alan Shepard's arc. I can't remember. I just remember the Apollo 12 episode being fun. Anyway, right, so they're doing their TV broadcast, but nobody's watching it because it's not going out on any of the stations where it's playing Spirit in the Sky. But I forgot who did Spirit in the Sky. It's not Doctor and the Medics. It's not that version. Oh dear. Maybe still mad that Star Trek was cancelled. Yes, the year before. Anyway, I'm sure it's on telly. Maybe that's playing on telly instead of their broadcast. But they're all having fun and all that stuff. Oh, we learned that the command module is Odyssey. There we go. Because they were supposed to be playing the music from 2001: A Space Odyssey, but Fred Hayes has decided on Spirit in the Sky instead. And we also learned that I think Ken Mattingly's forgot to file his taxes or something. And anyway. Now then, this is Jim Lovell's mother, who I think is terrifying. I don't know if she's like this in real life, but she's scared. I'm sure she's a sweet old lady, but she's absolutely terrifying. I'm sure that her grandkids are petrified of her. There she is. Obviously, that is her son supposed to be on TV, but obviously they're not there. Anyway, there we go. Forgot to file his 1040 return. Don't joke about that. They'll pounce on him. But anyway, right. Oh, we see there's fun and games. They make a banging sound. You think, oh, we've got a problem. No, it isn't. They're just goofing around. But anyway, so they're getting ready now. They're getting ready to do their stuff. Anyway, so now he's got to stir the tanks, the oxygen tanks. There we go. The O2's got to stir them. I don't know why. It's a technical thing, but they've got to do it. I think that was Ron Howard's mum, was it? Oh, crikey. Let's have a look. Blanche. Yes, Jean Spiegel Howard. I apologise for saying she's terrifying, but she bloody is. Snortopoopus, great name, says, people have become too blasé about the missions and thought they were routine and safe. Yes, exactly. Apollo, I imagine you mean 13, woke us up for a while. We got the same way about the shuttles until Challenger blew up. Yes, exactly. Space travel is never routine, is it? It might appear that way at times, but there's always a disaster waiting to happen. Yes, 13. But anyway, there you go, spinning, mixing the O2 tanks. Here we see there's showing a representation of the fault. We're going to see the explosion. Boom! Apparently, it didn't happen instantly. I think there was something like a 90-second delay or something like that for him pressing it and then hearing the noise, the boom. But this is the famous Houston, we have a problem. Is it this bit? Are we there? Are we there? Is it? Is he going to say it? There we go.
Hey, we've got a problem here.
Oh, no, he says that. And then he says, I don't know. But anyway, they've got a problem. Houston, we've got a problem. Or I think the line was, we've had a problem, or we have a problem. Anyway. Yes, we just witnessed another disaster with Katy Perry going up. Space tourism, eh? But she's a real astronaut. She got wings, didn't she? Astronaut wings. Anyway. So, the disaster's happened. So, there we go. Main bus be undervolt. All the alarms are going off. I think they're essentially spinning out of control as well. So, they've got to get the ship back under control. There's Clint Howard. Having some tranya and wondering what the heck's going on. And so anyway, so they're working to solve the problem. They're working the problem. By the way, they can't, for some reason, they can't close this seal, by the way. But anyway, there it goes. Hang on, I forgot to mute it. There it goes. So they'll get it back under control, which they do eventually. Jack is actually the first to say, Houston, we have a problem, but Lovell, we remember. I think you're saying sure about Katy Perry there, aren't you? Anyway, so there we go. They've got to. They eventually do sort it out. They get back on under control. There we go. Let's stay cool, people. We need procedures, etc. Because they've got a problem. So anyway, so all the different stations are all working out what to do and what's gone wrong. And we learned that they're losing oxygen. They're losing oxygen. So they've got to sort that out. They've got to shut down some of the other stuff. Shutting power down as well. So it's going to get cold in there. And they're not going to the moon now, by the way. They're going round. This is where they know that they've lost the moon. That's when when everything's shut down. That's when they realise. Oh, there's Mark McClure as the black team commander, whatever they call him. I don't know, flight director. But right, so doing through all the procedures. I was doing his numbers, and I'd be knackered. I'm rubbish with numbers. That's why I'm not an astronaut or anything else for that matter. Also, Jim Lovell didn't like how they portrayed Jack at parts. He said Jack was a good astronaut and guy. Yes, but that's the dramatic effect. They had them arguing and stuff, didn't they? And they weren't like that. They didn't freak out, did they, or anything like that, or have blazing rows like it shows in this. But it's just for dramatic effect. That's why movies shouldn't be taken as historical documents, no matter how good they are. But anyway, so here they are, working the problem, and they get it sorted. There's Ken Mattingly in his hotel room or motel, whatever, but he's going to get a phone call. Oh no, he turns it off, doesn't he? Special report comes on, and he turns it off. He did do back there. Just as the special report comes on that there's been a disaster, an electrical failure. So that, oh, crikey. But Winger says, that's your one missing qualification. What, that can't do anything. The astronauts didn't argue in real life. No, they didn't. That was all drama for the movie. Yes, it was. Yes, the drama. And he understood just being a movie nerd, an Apollo nerd. There's Pete Conrad. So, they're in danger, but they're going to try and get them home. It's, it's cool stuff. They're trying to get the ship, I suppose you could call it, out of its spin, back under control. And they're hearing bangs and shimmies and stuff like that. That's what they're reporting back. But obviously they're venting all oxygen and stuff. That's why they're out of control, aren't they? Anywho, so they've shut all the power down, as he's asking. It's going to get cold in here, and are we sure we're going to be able to power it all back up when we need to? But anyway. But they're going to have to do a burn to get them back on course. There we go. That's what we're telling them. They've got to burn to get round the moon and bring them back home before they run out of oxygen. If they had gimbal lock, they would have been done. I have no idea. I'm not an expert. I'll take your word for it, Justin. But anyway. I said I did have notes for last week and I bloody lost them. Because I'm stupid. And I hadn't had time to rewatch it today. I'll be super busy. This show was this close to getting postponed again. I tell you, it's the Apollo 13. It's jinxed. Anyway. So they're going to use the Aquarius's engine to, I think, do the burn around the moon. But obviously it's not designed for that. And I think this the fellow that's from who did it? Morton Thiokol or somebody like that. That whatever company was that designed the lunar lander. Says it's not designed to do that. But anyway. Right, so she's upset, obviously. Because the wives and stuff, they could hear everything what were going on, all the transmissions from Mission Control. They had these little boxes that they could hear everything going on. So she sat listening to that. And there's the moon. That looks more realistic than the actual footage from the moon landings themselves. Obviously, I do believe we went. I'm not one of these conspiracy theories that think we don't went. But I think some of the footage, it looks very, I don't know, fake. I don't know. I think some of it does. Anyway, coming up on Mount Marilyn, but they're not going to go. They've lost the moon. And that was the name of his book, wasn't it? I think Jim Lovell's Lost Moon or something like that, wasn't it? Right, so they're going round. They're going round the other side of the moon, and they'll be obviously out of contact for a while, a few minutes, as they go round. There's the landing site. But they've lost the moon. Now he's having a think about it, about what would have happened. He should have been walking and talking on the moon, fighting the rock monsters from Apollo 18 or whatever they were. Anyway. So there we go. Tommy Lee Jones is up there, isn't he? From Space Cowboys. We went, but I think there's more to it. Yeah, I think some of the footage and maybe some of the photos are a bit dodgy. But I think we did go. But I think some of the stuff's been touched up to make it look better. Anywho, so they're on the way around, and they're not going to the moon. They know that now. They're doing more numbers, and they're saying, they'll run out of air before they get back. So, and there's not enough power to turn everything back on. They've got 12 amps. So, anyway. He says, we're going to work it. We've never lost a man yet in space, and we're not going to start. Not on my watch and all that. Pardon me, all that stuff. So there we go. But George is not going to lose one on my watch. So we'll play that bit because that's important.
American in space, we're sure as hell not going to lose one on my watch. Failure is not an option.
Not an option, failure. Anywho, right, so he's gone to wake up Ken, saying, there's been a problem. Haven't you been watching the news? No, I've been asleep. I've been drowning my sorrows because I didn't go. Anyway, they're not going now. So we've got to get you in and help us with it, because he knows the systems as well as anybody. Because, astronauts are not only pilots and all, they're engineers as well, aren't they? They've all got, doctorates, and they're all, geniuses, aren't they? They make you bloody sick. Perfect physical condition. But anyway, best of the best of the best. Right, so anyway, they're eating and stuff. And so the moon's gravity's going to fling them round now. Put Isaac Newton in the driver's seat. Anywho, another problem. There's not enough the oxygen scrubbers or the carbon dioxide scrubbers in the LEM, because they're using the LEM as the lifeboat. They've all gone into the Aquarius now, using that as a lifeboat. They've shut down everything in the Odyssey, in the command module, and they're using the lunar lander as a lifeboat. But it's only designed for two, because remember, on the moon landing, two men go into the lunar lander, that goes off, and one fella stays up in the command module going round the moon. But now we've got three men in the LEM, and the oxygen filters, whatever, carbon dioxide scrubbers, only work for two. So they've got to find a way to get them to work for three, because otherwise they'll suffocate. They're all going to, within a couple of days. So they've got to work it out. This is what they've got in the capsule, and this is what they've got to use to make, that fit into the hole for that, or vice versa. It does say that, doesn't it? There you go. We've got to find a way. There we go. Hang on, where is it? Got to find a way to make this fit the hole for this. So there we go. Because obviously they never thought they'd have to do anything like this, did they? So they didn't think about, having standard filters for everything, all the same size and shape. No, they're all specially made, aren't they, for each thing. Wingrace says this wouldn't have happened if we were able to contact one of our allies, the Asgard or the Tok'ra. Typical. I'm sure the Vulcans were watching. I mean, they watched Sputnik, didn't they? So I'm sure they were watching this kicking off. Not interfering. Anyway. So they've got to save them with all that stuff they've just got there. So, they're on the... Oh, I'm doing the news coverage. Who does Xander Berkeley play in this? I can't remember his name. Where's Xander? Henry Hurt is his name. He's like the press officer for NASA. So saying to Marilyn, the TV companies want to put a big transmitter up on the first launch. He's saying, no, they can't. And if you got a problem with that, there we go. You have to speak with my husband. He'll be home on Friday. Anyway, moon's all big in the window, but they've gone round it. They're on the way home now, aren't they? And it's getting cold now. Remember, all the power's off, and they're struggling. Fred Hayes is struggling more than the others. But anyway, anywho. It hurts when they urinate. Oh, don't urinate then. Oh dear. Right, so they've got to have a re-entry plan, and obviously they're not telling them. One Vulcan is watching from Carbon Creek. Yes, he is playing with some Velcro. Yes. I wonder whatever happened to him. Bet he ended up working for NASA. It's probably at Mission Control with a hat on, the woolly hat on. If you see anybody at Mission Control with a woolly hat on, that's the Vulcan from Carbon Creek. Anyway, so they're saying that obviously they haven't got a procedure yet from Mission Control about how they're going to get back home. So they're saying that means we haven't got one yet. And says, well, maybe they're not. Maybe they can't get one, and we can't. They wouldn't tell us. They say no, they would. If they had one, they would tell us. So anyway, this is the dramatic bit where they're having the argument, and so we're not gonna bounce off the walls round here and all that stuff. So anyway, there we go. So he's telling them all to calm down, and also they keep staying on Vox or something. So they keep forgetting to go off mic, so they can hear everything they say sometimes at Mission Control. But anyway, they're arguing about the stirring of the tanks, and he says, I stirred the tanks as I'm supposed to do, not my fault. And Fred Hayes is suggesting otherwise, which I don't think that happened in real life. And Jim Lovell says, if I'm in the left-hand seat when the call comes, I stir the tanks. So it could have been any of them. Anyway, all right, they're on Vox. Is this where they pull out all their medical stuff as well? That's keeping an eye on them. They were told they're working on a procedure for them. And said, well, we think we need it. Right, so anyway, they've worked it out, because the geniuses, how to fit that square peg in a round hole. And they've got a procedure for that as well, because it's NASA, and they've all procedures, and they've got guys just thinking up shit. So that's what they've got to do. So they're doing all that. There we go. Roller grey tape, duct tape, and a flight plan, and taping it all together so they can breathe. That's the press conference. And they're almost out of breathable air, but they're working on it. So anyway, so it's all exciting for a bit. There's Wally Schirra. Did he ever go to the moon? I don't know. I know he was one of the right stuff astronauts, wasn't he, Wally Schirra? Talking to Walter. Anyway, so they sort that out. They get that fixed, and then we see that the CO2 levels start going down eventually when they get around. Just breathe normally, fellas. And then it starts going down again. So there we go. It's dropped to 9, and it's still dropping. Yay! You, sir, are a steely-eyed missile man. Right. So anyway, Here they are testing the turning on the command module, for when they're wanting to come back home. And but they've got to do it in a certain order. They've got that's the line that they're not allowed to cross. They've got so many amps in the batteries, and they've got turning on the various systems of the command module. And if you don't get it right, it'll not work. It sets off a master alarm. So they've got to work it out the order. You think they'd know, wouldn't you? But anyway, so Marilyn's taking the kids to see scary grandmother. Are you scared, honey? Well, don't you worry. They could make a fridge fly. My Jimmy had land it. That's what she says, because she's scared. She's crying. I don't want to go see Grandma. She scares me. Look. Sorry, Ron. Wally was Apollo 7, first mission after the 5, if I recall correctly. I think it just orbit the Earth. I think Apollo 7. I think Apollo 8 went to the moon, didn't it? Went round the moon. I think. Yeah, didn't it? Apollo 7, I think, just went round the Earth, but it were a lot of manned launch, wasn't it? Apollo 8 went round the moon. Apollo 9 and 10 tested, didn't go to the moon, did they? They tested, did they? I know 9 didn't. Did 10 might have done? Yeah, 10 did, didn't it? Apollo 9 tested the stuff in Earth orbit, didn't it? The lander and all that. Apollo 10 went within 15 kilometres of the moon's surface or something like that, didn't it? With the lander. But they didn't land, and Apollo 11 landed. That's what it wanted. Anywho, what's he saying? Scaring the kids. Terrifying. Anyway, here we're getting some views of the ship. Fred Hayes' Walkman back in 1970. Portable cassette player. So when were the Walkman actually invented then? The Sony Walkman. Was this made specially for the space age? For the Apollo missions? I don't know, but anyway. It's run out of batteries and it's all going... Anyway. So they're getting ready to... he looks familiar as well. I've seen him in something else. There's a lot of actors that I know the faces, but I don't know what I've seen them in. Now this is where they're ripping out their medical things. 1979, that's the Sony Walkman. So what's he using then? This little tiny portable cassette player. Obviously not a Walkman then, is it? If they weren't invented till 1979. It must be specially made for the space programme. Based on alien technology, probably. Anyway, they're ripping out their medical things that are keeping an eye on their vital statistics. Oops. So obviously the surgeon's not happy about that, but says, just a little medical mutiny. So anyway, I'm sure the guys are still with us. There they are, still heading for Earth. Look, day 6. They're on their way. But we learn that they're coming in at a funny angle, and we also learn later on that they're underweight. They should have picked up several, pounds of moon rocks, which they haven't got. And there's his frozen sausage. Does he still eat it? I don't know. So he's saying now, we need that procedure, that re-entry procedure, and all that, and that the procedure for powering up the command module. We need it, or we need part of it. Because we've got stuff to do, got to keep busy, basically. Anyway, so they've got a burn, haven't they? Got to do a burn, a correction burn, and basically, they need the point of reference for him. And he says, well, if I keep the Terminator of the Earth in the crosshairs on that, it'll be fine. Seems a bit vague, but that's basically what. Look, the crosshairs right on its Terminator. All I have to know is how long do we need to burn the engine. I don't know if it was this dramatic in real life, but anyway. this is where this fella's on telly explaining that they've got to get the angle right, because for re-entry otherwise they'll either just burn up, coming too steep and burn up, or if it's too shallow they'll skip off the atmosphere and bugger off into space. But anyway, so that's what they're doing. Hang on. Yeah, this is the fella, 'cause they're using the engine on the Luna, on the LEM. This is the fella from whoever made the landing module. Whoever made that, I can't remember. Morton Thiokol, or it's somebody else. He's saying it wasn't designed for that, and he's saying I won't hold you personally responsible. But then when it works, it's like, oh, what a machine, eh? Anyway, so here we are. So they're getting ready. No, it's all getting icy and all that in there because it's that cold. Anyway, so here we go. Off they go. There it goes. Oh, bloody hell. It looks like they're all over the place. Anyway, frozen hot dog, yummy. They did a few burns from what they said, and it was a bit dicey. But what it as dicey as it says on it, I bet they were all cool and calm. They didn't have James Horner's music, dramatic music playing. But anyway, so off they go. Basically, you know, it's on its way. The burn's happening, and he's got to keep the Earth, the Terminator, night and day, and the Earth in the crosshairs. But obviously, they do it because they came back. He's like, well, don't ask us to do that again. Anyway, right. So, still working out the order of powering up the command module. Yeah, not as well, but still crazy. Needs something to counteract the inertia. I don't know. I'm not an astronaut. So anyway, I think he's going to do it now. In a minute now. He's working on the order. And he's saying we've got to lose something. He said, well, we need all of these systems. And he said, well, what about the parachutes? We need the parachutes. What's pointing, you know, coming down and not opening the parachutes. We need all of these systems. So they've got to, you know, sort it out with that limited number of ampage. Right, so anyway, so this is the famous bit of Jim Lovell telling his tale of what happened when he was a pilot. Will this have been in World War II or Korea? I don't know. But anyway, when he was a pilot and he lost all of his electrics in his cockpit, everything shorted out. I presume the plane was still flying, just his electrics. All his instruments and lights went out, and didn't know where he was. And then he watched. He saw the phosphorescent algae in the sea that had been churned up by the carrier. So he followed that home. So he's telling that tale. He's telling that tale. So is there actually footage of Jim Lovell telling that tale? I've not seen it, but I'm sure there is. Kent and many others saved the day. Yes, they did. It was a team effort. What Korea? So, anyway. I hear a bang. It was a burst disc. Probably in my back. But anyway. Everything's fine. So, I think Ken's gone up to get ready for the to power up the command module, and I think he's done it now. He's done it, not Ken, Jack. Ken's here sorting this out. Yes, yeah, that's what they're going to do. Yes, they're going to use the power from the LEM, use an umbilical to use the power from the LEM, from the batteries in the LEM, to give them that little bit of extra power, just to power up the command module. And hopefully that'll work, and then they'll cut it loose. Once everything's up, they can cut it loose and it'll be fine. In theory. But, he's saying, look, there we go. I don't want another estimate, I want the procedures now. He's getting cross now, is Gene. Anyway. So, it works. It works, does that? It works. They get the command module powered up in the simulator. And says, yep, it's there, look, it's there, hovering just under the 20 amps. So I think we got it, buddy. So there we go. They're running in with the procedure, knocking this officer out of the way. It was probably somebody really important, but I don't know who he is. But anyway. So here we go. They've got their procedure. So they get Ken on Capcom. Because I don't think that was the case here, but Capcom is always another astronaut in it that talks directly to the astronauts in space. It's always another astronaut that talks to them in it. But anyway. She drops all this salad. I hope they throw it in the bin, because she just scoops it up and puts it back in the bloody thing. Look. Oh, that goes in the bin. I'm not having any salad at Jim Lovell's house, because it's probably been on the floor. Here's Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong come to talk to Blanche, Jim Lovell's scary mother. So, are you in the astronaut program too, boys? Anyway. Right, so he's a bit punchy, is Jack. I was having trouble reading my own writing. I'm feeling a bit punchy. I'm frightened of pressing the wrong button. And so they said, I'll talk you through it. So, of course, they're a team. So they go through the procedure. Oh, and he also says there's a lot of condensation and moisture around it. Are we sure we're not going to get any shorts? Don't know. Just have to see what happens. And they've got the paper towels they can dab it all down with. Obviously not. Anyway. So they get it powered up, and then they find out they're underweight. So because they were supposed to bring so many 100 pounds or whatever of moon rocks, so they've got to get stuff up into the command module from the LEM. 100 pounds, a couple of 100 pounds of ballast that they're going to have to get in. Anyway, so that's what they're doing there. That's Jim Lovell's son at his military academy or whatever he is, watching on telly in class. Anyway, so they're nearly ready now. They're going to separate from the lunar module, and off they go. To add more troubles, they've got a typhoon warning in the landing area. But anyway, luckily they're fine. Spoilers. Right, so here we go. There we go. The command module. The service module jettisons, leaving the command module there. This is where they get the first look at the damage to the service module as it comes round. There we go. Gets first look at the explosive damage. So there we go. Whole side of the spacecraft is missing. Sorry, that's just my standard American accent. So now they're worried because there seems to be damage all the way up to the heat shield on the command module. So if that's damaged, they could be knackered. But luckily, we know they're not. That's Ron Howard's dad, innit? I can't remember his name, but he's always in Ron's films, isn't he? It was in Independence Day as well. So all they can do is wait now. They're getting ready to go down. There's the plaque that they would have left on the moon. So they must have made another one, or did they just? Because it's supposed to be Ken Mattingly, wasn't it? So did they make another one up really quickly? Because it was like 2 days before, wasn't it? With Ken Mattingly's name on. So or did they just? Should have just crossed it out and written Jack Spaghett's name in biro or black marker or something, shouldn't they? Permanent marker. That would have been left on the moon, wouldn't it? But obviously it never got there. Anyway, Fred's suffering. He's freezing. So shared bodily warmth and all that. But anyway, they're getting ready to come home, and she's looking up. They're looking down up and down at each other. He's looking down at Marion. She's looking up at him. There she is, looking up at him. He's looking down at her. Obviously not really, but that's the dramatic implication. Sorry, Justin. The footage of damage is here. It is in the actual footage. Yes, it is. It was it was touch and go, wasn't it, in real life? Genuinely. But anyway, so getting ready. Fire the retros and all that stuff. Ken's in the pilot seat. Oh, I put a sticker on, not to press that button. This is for the jettison of the lunar module. It says I was getting punchy and I didn't want to jettison it while you were still in there. So anyway, so off it goes. Off goes Aquarius. There it goes. Goodbye, Aquarius. Or farewell. And we thank you. Should salute it and everything, shouldn't we? So imagine that burned up in the atmosphere. Apparently, the upper stage of, I think it's Apollo 11, the upper stage lunar module is apparently, I think it's still orbiting the moon. I think it's Apollo 11's one that's still orbiting the moon. Here's the carrier ship getting ready in the Pacific to collect them. This is that Herbert Jefferson Jr.? Is it Boomer? I think it is. Let's have a look. See if I can find him in the cast list. I hope it is. Yes, it is. Just reporter Herbert Jefferson Jr. Boomer from Battlestar Galactica. But Xander Berkeley's telling him, it's not over yet. They still might not make it. But the blackouts for 3 minutes, when they're entering the atmosphere with all the plasma causes interference and they lose contact with them. But anyway. So off they go, getting ready to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. Said this could be the worst disaster NASA has experienced, says one fella, and Gene Kranz says, on the contrary, this is going to be our finest hour. There we go. Because they don't, because, were he in Hill Street Blues? I think he was, wasn't he? Don't ask me the name of the actor, but I think he was in Hill Street Blues. So, right. Hang on. Gavin says there's some Apollo equipment in orbit round the sun. None of it was lost. It's all up there somewhere, I suppose, isn't it? Apart from the bits that, some of it they did, actually crash it into the moon, didn't they? Some of them. I think so. 11 is up there. 12 crashed into the moon. Yes, apparently it rang like a bell. Yeah, they did it twice, didn't they? Another one, and they did it with another one as well, didn't they? And it's not because the moon's hollow and is a spaceship, but it might be. But they've said that the interior of the moon is it's not like solid, it's like rubble or something like that, quite deep down into it. But that's the theory. Or it's an alien spaceship that was just parked there. Anywho, so they're getting ready to come home. Here it comes. There's the, hey! Start building up. There we go. Start building up the shock wave or the bow wave, whatever the bloody hell it's called. Just superheated air, isn't it? And hopefully the heat shield will hold. If it's not damaged, here come the helicopters. But obviously they're out of contact, and they've got to wait for the 3 minute mark. And then they can start trying to get in touch with them. That's 3 minutes, so Odyssey, Houston, you read me, over. Doesn't do that now. I wish they still had that beep when they do astronaut transmissions. Maybe they still do. I don't know. It's like Moonfall. Yes, it is. Cool film, is that? Stupid but fun. I like Moonfall. Hey, this movie makes me cry. It is it's one of those, it's a fella's, you've got to have you can get a bit lip quivery, can't you? Because of, the event and all that. It's not because it's sad or anything like that. It's just emotional, isn't it? So it sets me off at times. The launch sets me off. I think it's the music. But anyway. Why is there a painting of a fella being forced to do push-ups? Drop and give me 50. That's like painting, isn't it? Anyway. So, they're waiting now. They're waiting. So all they can do is wait. 'cause there's nothing else they can do. 3 minutes 30, and Odyssey, Houston, do you read? And then they're finally, yes. And weirdly, they speak to him. They say, Houston, this is Odyssey. And then just when that happens, they see him on the cameras and with the parachutes and all that. There we go. I think it's this bit. Hang on. So the capsules made it, and the parachutes, the drogues have opened. Yeah. They've made it. I'm actually feeling a bit emotional now, actually, Justin. Hey. So cool. They've made it, and knowing my luck, if it were me, because Apollo 13, they just sank in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, they just drowned. But anyway, they didn't. There it goes. And they get picked up, and they end up on the carrier. There they are. We're back on Earth. We never went to the moon, but never mind. Near enough. Near they are on the carrier. And we're going to see Jim Lovell in a minute. Who plays a captain. They actually wanted him to play an admiral. They wanted to put an admiral's uniform on him when we get there. Oh, but it's telling us about the astronauts, by the way. What was it? Damaged coil built inside the oxygen tank sparked during our cryostat and caused the explosion that crippled the Odyssey. And it was something that, it was a fault that had occurred like 2 years before and just wasn't noticed. A defect. But anyway, Fred Hayes was going back to the moon in Apollo 18. Thank God it wasn't him, because of all them rock monsters. But it were cancelled due to budget cuts. We were warned off. He never flew in space again. Nor did Jack Swaggart, who left the astronaut corps. He went into politics, didn't he? And died of cancer. Ken Mattingly orbited the moon as command module pilot for Apollo 16. Yay! And flew the space shuttle, having never got the measles. But he'll get lip cancer smoking them. There he is. There's Jim Lovell as There's Jim Lovell as the captain. They wanted him to be an admiral. But he said no. I said I retired at captain, so that's what I'm going to be. So there he is as the captain of the carrier, I imagine. Is that the admiral next to him? Don't know. But I bet that were a thrill meeting him. Justin says, one of those moments the world was united. Yes, it was. Everybody wanted them to come back safe, even our enemies. He made captain, and he would not do the admiral bit, yes, because he said I retired as a captain, so that's where I'll be. On your film, on your little film. Poor Jack, yes. Anyway. So there we go. Other men walked on the moon and returned safely. What were the 4 more missions? I can't remember now. What were 14, 15, 16, 17? Yeah, 4 more missions. So another 8 men walked on the moon. And officially. Anyway. But he never went back, did he? He never went back into space. And there we go. That's the end of the film with its cool font. What font is that? I don't know. I'm going to have to try and find it. But it's one of my favourite fonts for some reason. Don't ask me why. Technical consultants. There we go. Jim Lovell up top, obviously. So, yeah, great film. And, artistic differences aside, it's mostly, faithful, I suppose, to what actually happened, mostly. But it's a great telling of, a spectacular failure. That's what they described it, wasn't they? It was a spectacular failure, something like that, wasn't it? Or a successful failure, or something. In that, they didn't get to the moon, but they got the men home. So, if it had been the Russians, the Soviets, they've had no chance, would they? Something like that. I mean, how many men? I bet at least dozens of Soviet cosmonauts died in space that we'll never know about. Yes, a successful fail. Is that what it was? Yeah. But there we go. Apollo 13. Apollo 13. Great film. The Apollo 11 film's not bad. I think that was a TV movie. But obviously, Apollo 13, bit more dramatic. So anyway. So there we go. So that's the end of that. Excuse me. Yeah, so cool. It's a shame we never went back to the moon, but hopefully we'll get back there soon. If Elon Musk can get his bloody Starship to work, hopefully we'll get back soon. Has Elon Musk made up with Trump yet? Because I'm sure Trump were, when they fell out, he were ready to cancel, Elon Musk contracts and all that, wasn't he? With NASA, because they were going to bring Artemis back, wasn't he? Because I think Artemis were going to be, they weren't going to bother with that, were they, Artemis? But anyway, who knows what's happening. Hang on. First Man is good also. Can't remember if I've seen that one. Is that the one with Ryan Gosling as Neil Armstrong? I'm not sure if I've seen that. Or I might have done. Can't remember. Could have used Apollo's big green hand to help. Yes. I am Apollo. Echo. Right, so we'll leave it there. Great film. It's on Amazon, and I think it's on YouTube as well to rent or buy. Or you can get the HD DVD, which I can't play. It's on Blu-ray. Get it on Blu-ray. Not really, still kind of hate each other. Yes, good movie. I forgot what I said when you said that. What have I said? I can't remember. Anyway. Yes, I was on about Trump and Elon Musk, wasn't it? That's what we're on about, yeah. But anyway, hopefully Starship will launch in a couple of hours. I'm going to actually have a look now. Let's have a look, see how they're doing. Let's have a look. Before we go, let's see how we're doing.
We've got a little bit more...
Shush. We're 2 hours away, so we'll see. Just over 2 hours away from the launch, so we'll see what happens. Time is it? It's going to be early hours for me. Right, so we'll leave it there. What's coming up next? On Wednesday, I'll be doing my top 5 favourite movies of 1999. So you can imagine what films are in there, can't you? And on Friday night appointment with Thea. Kind of a double bill, sort of, but it's like an edited TOYG edit had me of Paranormal Activity and Paranormal Activity 2, because they kind of overlap, so I've done my own edit, so we're doing that on Friday. And then next Monday, for Magnificent Mondays, we're doing Cocaine Bear, which is a lot of fun. I did like this film. It was better than I thought it was going to be. So, there we go. Ray Liotta's last film, sadly. Right, so we're all done and dusted. Hopefully I weren't choppy. You'd have said something, wouldn't you, if I was? But obviously I'm not. So, right, so we'll leave it there. So thanks Justin, thanks Win Grace, and Gavin Blackburn, and I can't remember if I have to pronounce it. Let me look back. Snook Poop or something. Snorterpoopus Cuba, thank you. For keeping me company while we go through Apollo 13 and my breakdown and review of said film and the mission as a whole. Not an expert, but what the heck. I think we did all right. Right. Hang on, put that back down to the bottom. Right, so thanks for watching, wherever you are. Look after each other, and until next time, I'll see thee.